Now, let's go live to Washington, where our correspondent Simon Marks has been taking the temperature. Simon, this is a very strange case because in one sense it is just a provocation. It's one bit of the State Department suddenly tweeting something. But in the context where everybody is waiting with genuine worry about coming tariffs, America has massive, massive leverage. And there seems a kind of insouciance or, relaxed nature about how they're going to impose their views on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andrew Aggie was citing parliamentarians in London there who were saying that this is abnormal, but it may become the new normal, heralded as it was by the speech that Vice President J.D. Vance made several weeks ago at the Munich Security Conference that stunned European officials that were present as he excoriated the continent for allowing backsliding on freedom of speech. There is no indication coming out of the embassy here, which of course has been absolutely intimately involved with ongoing conversations between Jonathan Reynolds, the business secretary, and officials here in the United States about whether the United Kingdom is going to escape the worst of Donald Trump's planned United States tariffs. No indication that this case has come up, but it is extraordinary to learn that US officials from that State Department bureau that focuses on democracy, human rights and labour, and traditionally has focused on countries like Russia, Belarus, Iran, North Korea, places where freedom of speech really is buttoned up. It is extraordinary that officials from that bureau met with Ms. Tosici Bolt in the UK prior to this statement being put out over that bureau's social media feeds. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also voiced concern, particularly about freedom of speech in the UK. He actually did it in a very little noticed moment during that extraordinary Oval Office bust-up between Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And it is indicative of a Trump administration that feels absolutely emboldened to criticise Western European allies for issues pertaining to freedom of speech that the United States would never have even vaguely considered raising before.
It seems to me almost as if the State Department is taking dictation from J.D. Vance, who is absolutely, as is his right, a devout Roman Catholic and has strong views on abortion. Again, completely his right. As it happens, Jonathan Reynolds, our trade negotiator, is also a devout Christian. But, this is a matter not just of tact, but of sovereignty. I mean, these are matters for us. How we police places like abortion clinics, how we deal with free speech in public is a matter for us, not for the Americans. And, I think a lot of people here are just beginning to be a bit narked. Do you really think that this is the next 4 years for us?
Well, I think it might be. I mean, I think if you're narked now by this, imagine how narked people are going to be if the Trump administration at some point decides to wade in on the issue of Tommy Robinson, which is perfectly possible in the course of the weeks and months ahead. This is not, I think, simply about efforts to fuel the anti-abortion movement in the UK. I think this is a much broader approach from this administration. I'm sure we're going to hear J.D. Vance before long weighing in about the plight of Marine Le Pen in France, for example, after she was effectively sidelined from running in that country's next presidential election. We've already seen them weigh in on what they claim are free speech issues in a number of other parts of Europe that don't relate to issues pertaining to abortion. So this is a much bigger play from this Trump administration, and it's going to require, I think, European governments to sit down and figure out for themselves how they protect their own sovereignty in that regard and how they push back at a United States where freedom of speech is really under attack every single day now, even in that very White House briefing room where the White House press secretary holds forth.
And even overshadowing everything you've been discussing, everyone here has been talking about that drama, adolescence, and the poisonous impact of some of the things that young boys, in particular, young boys and men, are seeing online and feeling that should be curbed. That is going to be the really big one, because when the tech companies realise there is a genuine argument around censorship of violent and pornographic material for young people, that could be the biggest confrontation of all.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, of course, that many of those tech behemoths are led by men that have now bent the knee before Donald Trump, including Mark Zuckerberg, including, of course, Elon Musk, the de facto prime minister of this country. And we've even heard Donald Trump talking about the possibility that he's going to relax efforts to force TikTok to move to new ownership here or else face shutdown, because he is so cognizant of the value of TikTok's ability to connect him, the president of the United States, with younger Americans. So there will be more opportunity for those tech firms here to do deals in the United States than they will find, I think, with governments across Europe. Worth mentioning that drama Adolescence is being screened here live. It's being streamed here, and it's being very widely watched here as well.
Very interesting. Simon Marks in Washington, no knee bender he. Thank you very much.